So I chase the bucks, your friends looking like you changing up. Remember back when I would chase the bus, niggas is racing for short durations, running from their sins. When I was just a kid, running from my pen, people is talking, I Tony Hawk them, I swear to ground.
What's going on, everyone? This is your boy AshTheMan, and thank you so much for tuning in. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the Xbox Series S. We're going to be talking about the specs for it, kind of comparing the specs to the Series X, seeing if it's a good buy, seeing if it's going to be a good addition for the next generation. Now, before I go ahead and get started, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button, and please leave a comment below. Definitely appreciate the feedback from you guys. You guys definitely does help out the channel each time that you interact with me. Definitely appreciate it. So let's talk about it. So Xbox Series S, at first it came as a leak, but then Microsoft later confirmed it, showing the design and the pricing for it, which is set at $299. So we could definitely expect some type of downgrade from the Series X. And with that being said, a lot of people, when they looked at the specs, they pretty much target that it's going to be like 60% at a lower performance rate than how the Series X is. I mean, some could say 60, 50, 40. I mean, at this point, we just want to make sure that, for the next gen, that is able to do what it's meant to do. And that's making sure that people is able to game in the next gen and may not be at the most like 4K or 8K gaming, but at least they'll be able to still play it at a great high definition, detail graphics. So let's definitely look at the specs for this. Now, if you take a look at the lower right screen, you get the design. The controller, of course, you already know that the controller was pretty much going to look the same as the Xbox One, just they have a dedicated share button. I think the triggers, for what this looked like, it looked like the triggers is white. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be like that for the Series S. But the controller pretty much looked the same, besides the D-pads being how they may set it up on a Pro controller. If it works, don't fix it. I mean, honestly, one of the things that Xbox has always, been praised about is the controllers. The consumers who buy their console really loves the controllers. So, I mean, I use the Xbox One controller when I'm gaming on the PC. So, I have no gripe with it. Only thing that I ever take away from it is like the intense rumbling, but not just a little. I ain't gonna really sweat on that like that. But here, let's go talk about the specs of the console. So it's gonna be at 4 teraflops. It's gonna be at 8 cores. It's gonna be at 3.8 gigahertz, 60 threads, which means it's gonna be at 3.6 with SMT. Retina is going to be 2.0 GPU with 20 Retina being at 1.5 gigahertz. It's going to have 10 gigabytes of RAM. It's going to be at 60 frames per second, but it's just not going to be like 4K or 8K. The storage is going to be at 500 gigabytes SSD. It's going to play all previous games and still going to make sure that it still be able to play the Series X exclusive titles. Also, the power is going to be 250 watts or lower, and of course, it's not going to have no disk drive. Now, if you look at the Series X, you definitely do see a difference. Like, look at the GPU power. You see that the GPU power is 3 times better than the Series S. The Series X is going to be hitting at 12.15. And if you look at the Retina, it's going to be at 52, while the Series S is only at a 20. Of course, if you look at the RAM, it's a 6 difference, and then they have more of a breakdown at like 10 at 506 gigabytes per second, and 6 being at 336 gigabytes per second. Of course, 4K, 8K. It's coming with 1 terabyte SSD, and of course, backwards capability. Power being at 250 to 300 watts, and it's going to have a disk drive. So that means Ultra HD, 4K, Blu-ray, and all that good jazz. So yeah, you definitely do see the difference in this. That's the biggest thing. You see the difference and how much the system is, and of course the costing is going to be at $299. Now it hasn't been confirmed how much the Series X going to be. I know people are speculating that it was going to be at $499, and then there was some things going on with the whole like Monster energy drink, I believe, or it may be a different energy drink. I'm not sure. But they was confirming that the price would have been at $599, but nothing is confirmed yet. I don't want to throw out that that's the confirmed price. That's just what people are speculating and where they hitting off at. So, but right now, the main thing we're covering is the Series S, and the Series S is at $299. It's confirmed by Microsoft and everything. So, what does this mean with the Series S? This means that it's aiming at the consumer who's, one, not needing a disk drive, another who's not looking to have their games being a 4K or 8K gaming, but it does take a hit on the storage, which the storage is twice as much on the Series X, being a 1 TB SSD. Now the SSD upgrades for the next gen is definitely going to be one to talk about, because with having a solid state drive, that means you're getting better, better storage performance all around, and especially with that disc being running. And then it got 3 times as more teraflops. The Retina is twice as much. So yeah, you definitely getting a difference in there. No, let's not forget about the RAM. The RAM is about like a 6 difference, being from 10 GP RAM in the Series S to 16 GP in the RAM for the Series X. But it's aimed at the consumer who's not willing to spend that much and who doesn't mind taking a few specs off just to be able to play in the next gen. It's definitely for more of the casual consumer who's not looking for having the most beefy platform, because we can all agree at this point, from looking at the PS5 specs and the Xbox Series S specs, that the Series X is definitely going to be the most powerful console this time around. So yeah, I could definitely understand what their idea, making sure that they don't leave out any gamers who's looking to have a cheaper option to get the Xbox Series S, so that they can still play on a platform that they love to play on. So I can see why Microsoft did it. The only narrative that you could take away from it is that anybody who still has like an Xbox One, unfortunately, even though they say they still going to make like the next gen games, playable on the Xbox One, I don't think you're going to get the full benefit that they're looking to capture you on the next gen. And what I mean by this is that, they explained that load screens is going to be shorter, that, the performance wise, everything with the world and how they are establishing these open worlds is definitely going to be at a faster rate. What you have on the Xbox One, you're not really going to experience that. And then it takes away the whole narrative where Phil actually explained on 2 occasions that he want to make sure that the Xbox One still be relevant for some time. They don't want you to quickly go to the next gen. But with them coming up with the Series S, that kind of like takes away that narrative. Like, you pretty much like giving people like an option to upgrade, to spend the extra $299 to get the next gen console. I'm not saying that it's not a bad thing. It's just that the way that you was marketing the Xbox Series X at first to what you're doing now with the S just kind of seems like you're going backwards. But however, I still think it's an awesome way to kind of still get people to play the next gen without breaking the bank. Like, $200 difference in a console. If the Xbox Series S X is at $499, $200 does make a difference. That could be a couple of games, especially with games going to be $70. You'd be able to, purchase a couple, probably, maybe buy an extra controller, maybe some accessories with that. You definitely want to make sure you manage that money well, and this could be the option for you. Now, what that narrative is, when we dealing with the next gen and basically consoles in particular, it's hard not to compare the PlayStation 5 and also the Xbox, series, editions. Now, the PlayStation 5 is going to be having the digital and the actual hard drive, editions. Now, there's not really going to be any difference besides one coming with a hard drive and one's not. So I don't think it's going to have anything to like sap for the performance. So that right there is a whole different market that PlayStation going on. So what Xbox is doing, it could be a little bit different than what Sony is doing, but it could be something that they're trying to capitalize on, and that's not a bad thing. I want either one of these consoles. I definitely want to make sure that all of them does well and actually excel in this gaming platform. It's just that, like, when you kind of compare grapes to grapes, it's like, well, Xbox side, they really don't have any exclusives to really say that it's going to be a day one buy. I'm pretty sure you're probably still going to play your old previous titles if you get the next gen without having anything to really start off on. But PlayStation 5 does have its exclusive ready to go. So that's one thing. So let's go with the verdict on this. Is the Xbox Series S a good idea, and should consumers proceed with it? honestly, yes, I'm going to go that it's not a bad idea. The Xbox Series S is definitely meant for consumers who's not trying to break the bank, who's actually is thinking about, yo, $499 is too much. I may just want to spend a little bit less. Well, here go another option for you. It's just a digital version, but you can still download and play the games that you want. Now, the only kickback from this is that, one, it doesn't have a disk drive. Now, you're able to upgrade the storage, but the standard storage is only at 500 gigabytes. With game costing going up and them trying to incorporate 4K and 8K into that, like whole like download package, and I'm not sure if they're gonna render it down due to the Xbox Series S, or if other companies gonna do so. But that storage, even on this current gen, is actually questionable. Like myself, I end up having to get like a 5 terabyte external storage because 1 terabyte in my PlayStation Pro, or 1 terabyte in my Xbox One, just not enough. I had to get one for both because I like to play games, I download games, so it is what it is. So that's my verdict on that. I still think it's a great idea. There is going to be some setbacks with it. But if you're okay with them setbacks, you're not looking for the 4K gaming, you're okay with not having a disk drive, and if you're okay for a while until they come out with expandable storage chips for the Xbox Series, that the 500 gigabytes is okay for you, then the Series S is going to be for you. Honestly, my opinion, I probably not. Because I like having the best performance. So if I had to lean towards it, it would probably be getting the Series X. So yeah, that's my verdict on it. But overall, thank you guys for definitely tuning into the video. Definitely appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button, and also leave a comment below what you guys think. Would you guys get the Series S? Is you still looking towards getting the Series X? And is you okay with the Series S being that much of a downgrade from the Xbox Series X? So just leave a comment below. Let me know. Other than that, until next time, AshTheMan out. Peace.